Great. So you mentioned the 5 tenets, or let's say the 5 pillars of Islam, let's say, or the 5 corners of Islam. We call them in Arabic Arkan al-Islam, which is the corners. So we have 5 of them, and we have 6 pillars of faith. Okay, so there are 6 pillars of faith. So to say that I am a faithful person, I believe, you need to believe in 6 things. And then to say that I'm a Muslim, it means that you acknowledge at least those 5 things. So what are the 6 things? Number 1, you believe in God, okay, that he is, of course, obviously that he exists and that he is one, and you acknowledge his attributes. So if you accept this, then you believe in God. And then in his angels, okay, so God has angels, and he gives angels, errands and tasks.
And real quick, angels, according to Muslim theology, like they can't sin and stuff. Like there are very, like in like Christian theology and in other theologies, angels look different than within Islamic theology.
Angels do not have free will, and they are sinless.
Yeah. Okay. So just wanted to establish that.
Angels are Muslims by design, so they are not in submission because they can sin, but they are in complete submission to God because this is the only thing that he can actually do. Okay, so they are those special, completely pure beings. So there is no, like, quote unquote fallen angels. Satan is not a fallen angel, is not the dark prince. Satan is another category of being which has free will, just like humanity, but he is like let's say an electromagnetic being or something. Okay, he's made of fire. Okay, angels are made of light. So according to Islam, we have us, we are material beings. We have angels who are light kind of beings, and we have jinn, of which is Satan, who are fire beings. Okay, and both jinn and humans have free will, and angels are like the foot soldiers. They just do what God wants them to do. So we have, number 2, you have to believe in angels, and you have to believe in angels like this. So the way they are. Okay. And then number 3, you believe that God has sent messages. So God, and then there is the angels, and he sends messages. So under this, you will find the Quran, you will find the Gospels, you find Psalms, the Torah, the scrolls of Abraham, etc., etc. So you believe that God has sent messages, and you believe specifically also on the ones that God has specifically mentioned. So this is number what? God, his angels, his messages, and then or the messages can also be counted as his books. Okay, and then that obviously those messages come to humanity with messengers. So number 4 is messengers. And then you would have Prophet Muhammad, Jesus, Moses, Abraham, peace be upon them, etc. And then in Judgment Day, so there is life after death, and there's Judgment Day, and there's even either hell or paradise. There's nothing else. Eventually, everybody will go to hell or to paradise. And then you believe in destiny. So God is in control, and God sets destinies. And within these destinies, you are tested. So you are destined to be very smart, it's your test. You are destined to be rich, it's your test. You are destined to be poor, it's your test. You're destined to be very healthy, it's your test. So believe that there are destinies that God set, and our role in this life is to go through these destinies and emerge successful by passing those tests to the extent that we'll be successful in Judgment Day and hereafter. So so these are the 6 pillars of faith. If you are okay with those 6, then you are a faithful person. You believe. Okay. And then to be a Muslim, you have to accept the 5 primary pillars and to do them and not to deny any of them. Obviously, the first one of them is the Shahada, which is La ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah, which means there is no true God but Allah, and Prophet Muhammad is his messenger. What about the other messengers? Well, they're counted in the tenets of faith, the 6 the messengers in general. And then number 2 is prayers. Muslims pray 5 times a day. So you have a prayer at dawn, you have a prayer at midday, and then you have a prayer at Asr, which is between midday and sunset. And then you have a sunset prayer, and then you have Isha, which is after all the twilight is gone. So it's completely dark. So these are 5 prayers a day. You have to do them. You can pray more if you'd like, but at least you need to do the 5. To do the 5, you need to do something which is like wudu, which is like washing up in a specific way, and then you pray. And the third one is paying alms. So you give money to 8 kinds of people. For example, people who are poor, people who have nothing, people who are in debt, people who are away from country and they do not have money to go back, people who are slaves and you would like to free them, or something called fi sabilillah, which is you would put money for charity, for public benefit kind of thing, let's say, etc. So there is eight kinds of people where you should give pay alms. Alms is called.
Is there a specific percentage you have to give?
Yeah, it depends on things. So if it's cash, there is no paper money in Islam, actually not even in any religion, but let's say that cash today is this nonsense paper money that loses value every day, which is not what money is about. But anyway, so if you have money, then like gold and silver or the modern day cash, you pay 2.5% of your total holdings beyond a specific limit. Okay. So if you're poor, you don't pay, you actually receive, right? And if you have cattle, for example, there is like 1 out of each 40. If you have agricultural land, you do not pay alms for the land itself, but you pay either 5 or 10% of the output of the land, depending if it's watered by rain or watered by your effort. If it's watered by your effort, it's 5%. If it's watered by rain, then it's 10%. If you have trade, then it's about how much is in your stock at the end of the period. It has, and also you pay 2.5% out of that. If you have stocks, it's 10% of the profit of the stocks, of the dividend. So there is very specific things in jurisprudence, but at the end of the day, let's say that the main thing that is your cash maybe is like 2.5%. You pay 2.5% of your total holdings, not your assets. If you have a piece of land that does not produce anything, it's just you don't pay out for that unless you have it to sell it later. So there are other details, but generally you pay alms. And then the fourth one is fasting in Ramadan. Yeah, so this is the fourth one, which maybe we talk about today. And then the fifth one is doing pilgrimage at least once in a lifetime, if you can, financially and physically, and you have, let's say, you can go there. There is means. Yeah, so this is pilgrimage. I think there is also pilgrimage in other religions, including Christianity and Judaism. But yeah, in Islam, pilgrimage obviously in Islam is to Mecca. Yeah. So these are the 5. Yeah, and fasting is the 4th. Yeah, we still like to celebrate Moses. Yeah.